We all know our Phil. Yeah, Weege Show, we're back in the Garagemahal. Big thanks to our buddy Thomas back there for hosting us. It's not actually our garage. We do not make that kind of money. But maybe we could if the races were this exciting all the time, because that's really what would make the sport massively huge, right? We have all these theories about, oh, if the riders would do this, if the teams would do that. How about just give us great racing? And it's probably coming up because I have a theory usually on round 3 being the best race of the season, but we don't even need help from that theory this year because it's been so good in the first 2 rounds that I think the round 3 theory, which is normally crazy, has been blown into a completely other dimension of craziness. And that's what we'll cover here on the Weege Show, brought to you by Honda and the Talon Sport Side-by-Side. See how life's better side-by-side with Honda. They got 2 models of this, 1000cc either way, putting the power down to the ground with the awesome dual clutch transmission with the paddle shifters. You can get the R model with gobs of suspension travel, like gobs, or the X model, which is a little bit narrower, good for the eastern trails, a little less suspension travel, but still good. You can still jump it. And I would like to find out personally, maybe Honda will just send me one and I would feel like a small piece of as lucky in life as we are when we hang out in this garage. So check out the Talon and let's talk about what's coming up a Saturday in Houston again. And normally I say round 3 is the best race of the year because round 1, everyone's nervous. They have to figure out their bikes. They try new things in their bikes at round 2. Now they know what direction to go. By round 3, the nerves are gone. The bikes are good. And everybody's still confident that this is their season. They haven't been beat down yet. We don't have a pecking order yet. That's normally what makes round 3 good. But I don't even think we can get to that segment of the season yet because the first 2 rounds have been so nutty, so crazy, completely different podiums in each round in the 450 class that we're not even close to that settled down period yet. Eli Tomac, 13th in round 1, winning round 2. And despite that, maybe still some question marks, whereas Eli's still the best guy in the series like he was last year. You could make an argument that there were 4 guys maybe going faster than him at times in that race, starting with the kids. Chase Sexton. Look, Sexton has been a lot of things in his career, but good starter has not been one of them. The speed that he has shown last year in the 250s especially, and since he's gotten on the 450 is unreal. But I still didn't know if he could put a race together, but I'm telling you, with the speed he has had in practice, when he hole shot that main event, I'm like, this is gonna be a problem because he's already fast enough where it was making me wonder if anyone could actually catch him. And I know the kid's super strong and in super good shape. I honestly thought when he got the hole shot that the only guy who had a chance to go with him on speed was Cianciarulo, and I thought really that meant that the win was going to go to one of those 2. They both ended up crashing. So rare is it to point out, I can't even remember another example, where Eli Tomac wins a race by simply being the steady guy. Not beast mode, not an unbelievable speed that no one can match. Even down the stretch, Zach Osborne was catching him and lost, in all the action that's going on. Dylan Ferrandis, like unbelievable, man. I said it was scary when Sexton got the hole shot, like what are they gonna do about this guy? Unfortunately for Sexton, he crashed out and the shoulder's too sore, he won't race on Saturday. But it has to be scary seeing what Ferrandis is able to put together. Limited offseason with a hand injury. Totally, completely shocked and didn't expect to be there confidence-wise. Now that he's got some of this confidence, now that he's got some race laps under his belt, like, is this for reals? I know early in the season it's always a little crazy, and there's a chance that people are over-delivering right now and things will settle back down to earth, but you really have to be excited at the prospects. That Ferrandis is this fast. Sexton was this fast. Cianciarulo is good to go. I don't think there'll be lingering effects. He did crash in the sand. He said it bothered his hand just a little bit, but no big deal. Here, I'll show you cooler stuff than me while I talk. And Zach Osborne, perhaps the fastest start to a season for a rider with 10-10 scores. That's 22nd to 10th in round 1, and that's catching Tomac late in round 2, only to crash in the whoops and end up 10th in the event. So Osborne has got to be super frustrated. He was texting us after the race. He said, I'm a veteran, I'm a champion, I shouldn't make mistakes like that. But as a caveat, Osborne can't feel horribly bad because these guys are still stealing points from each other to such a significant degree that I think he could make them back up in a hurry. And all you have to do is ask Tomac about that, where Tomac finds himself, I believe, 4 points out of the lead after finishing 13th at round 1. Isn't that ridiculous? Now, a couple other riders to talk about. Justin Barcia finds himself in the points lead again. He was kind of briefly not. Ken Roczen had the points lead for a few hours, and they never published the official results. By the time they did, Roczen had been penalized for jumping with a red cross flag. I could make this video much more popular if, instead of calling it the Weege Show, I called it the How Ken Roczen Got Screwed at Round 2 of Supercross. I could put that title on there right now and just let the money rain down, and maybe I could buy a Ferrari. But I'm not going to do that because I understand the tough situation that the AMA was in this situation. I hate that this happened, and Roczen could not see the red cross flag. I totally believe him. It's totally, in his perspective, unfair. He couldn't even see the flag. How was he supposed to react to it? So my answer is they've got to have a better situation of maybe where the flags are positioned, or maybe you have 3 red cross flags in a row in a spot where if a rider has someone on his left or right, he could still see one of the other flags. Something like that. As far as the penalty, look, they complained that the rules aren't consistent enough, right? Well, they are consistent now. They went to the exact rule in the rule book. They gave the exact penalty to Davalos, Anderson, Roczen, anyone that jumped. It's the same penalty that Marvin Musquin got when he jumped through a red cross. He won the Seattle Supercross 2 years ago. They are consistent with the rule and the penalty. They've been consistent. If you want to reference them taking a race win away from Ryan Dungey, like in 2016, yeah, they changed the rule since then. You cannot compare it to that. So they are consistent. So I don't want to bash on them for inconsistency, but it is a shame that there was no chance Ken could see that flag because Ferrandis was between him and the flag and he couldn't see it. So maybe they need to redesign the positioning of the flags, maybe have multiple or certain areas where they know the riders can see them. Either way, I don't think, as exciting as this year has been, that 4 points is going to change the championship. It rarely comes down to that close. If you're a Roczen fan or Roczen, you're bummed, but hopefully those 4 points aren't a factor. The bottom line is he's right in the mix, either way, 4 points or not. And Barcia had his shifter break off. He said he was stuck in first gear. We've all been theorizing how he managed to get around the track at any sort of pace, and I did not know this. In the very last turn of the main event, he actually block passed Osborne to steal 9th and 1 extra point, and that's why he is in the points lead right now. Ferrandis would be the points leader, I believe, if Barcia hadn't done that. How Osborne got passed by a guy who only had first gear, how Barcia was going that fast in first gear, I don't know. Do you understand all the chaos I'm talking about now? All the crazy things? Ferrandis going good, Osborne going good, AC going good, Tomac going good but not great, Roczen still good, Barcia had a bad result, turned out to be the shifter. You hear all these things, all these scenarios, all these crazy things? I'm forgetting about Malcolm Stewart. He's been solid. Aaron Plessinger didn't get to show at round 2, but he had at round 1 because he crashed early. Do you hear all this stuff? I don't even need round 3 theory to make the 3rd round of this championship good. I don't need it because this series is delivering with the back-to-back completely different podiums. It doesn't need my help. It doesn't need my theory. It doesn't need my hype. It's delivering on its own. Oh, I almost forgot. Cooper Webb, championship contender, 2019 champ, 4th, putting himself back in it. And I'm not even going to go there with Brayton. I'm not even going to go there. I give Brayton plenty of love. We know what we have. I don't need to share it with the world. We know what we have. It's a really exciting season. And I know it's weird. We don't get a lot of fans at the races. I hope they at least get I think 12,000 is the limit because you don't get racing like this very often. I know every year we say is the year where it's going to be awesome. Well, let's hope it keeps up. I don't think it's going to go all the way to round 17 like this. Like I said, I'd be pumped if 4 points actually mattered. I don't think it will because it generally does not. But enjoy the chaos. When things start to settle and narrow down, rounds 3 or 4 normally, might be halfway through the season before we get to that point. We'll see you Saturday and we'll find out. Thanks to Honda and the Talon Sport Side-by-Side for the backing.